On a chilly night blanketed in snow in Detroit, an El Camino trails another car through the city. The vehicle being followed parks, and its driver, Evelyn Mercer, a kind-hearted elderly woman, steps out and enters a convenience store. Meanwhile, two individuals exit the El Camino, clad in black hoods and armed with shotguns. They enter the store, demanding money from Samir, the cashier, while Evelyn hides behind a counter. As Samir hands over the cash, the robbers fatally shoot him, prompting a gasp from Evelyn. Outside the store, a second gunshot rings out before the assailants flee. Evelyn had come to buy a turkey for Thanksgiving. Bobby Mercer returns to Detroit to attend the funeral of his adoptive mother, Evelyn. He reunites with his brothers Jeremiah and Jack. Later, everyone gathers at Jeremiah's house for a reception. The four brothers, except Angel, were adopted by Evelyn after she couldn't find suitable homes for them. Bobby, the eldest, has a reputation as a troublemaker. Jack, the youngest, is described as a first-class screw-up, third-class rock star, while Jeremiah has successfully moved on from his troubled past, becoming a businessman with a family. Lieutenant Green and his partner Fowler give their condolences. Green updates Bobby on the investigation into Evelyn's murder, revealing that they are in contact with a basketball player who witnessed two men fleeing the convenience store on the night of the shooting. Green, who grew up playing hockey with Bobby, has a good relationship with them. The three brothers then drive to the old Mercer home, where Bobby and Jack will be staying. They find Angel waiting on the porch, just back from the Marines. As they enter the house, the weight of their mother's absence sinks in. Overwhelmed, Bobby breaks down in the bathroom. After washing up, he consoles Jack in his room, shedding silent tears as he plays the guitar. Jeremiah, determined to maintain a semblance of normalcy, announces his intention to go out and buy a turkey, insisting that they should still celebrate Thanksgiving despite the tragedy. Angel gets his ex-girlfriend Sophie home despite Bobby's warning. Later, as they gather for a meal, Bobby leads them in saying grace. The absence of Evelyn's presence at the head of the table is palpable. Proposing they play the Turkey Cup, their traditional hockey game, they head out into the cold night air, enjoying the festivities before visiting a bar to drink in memory of Evelyn. Jack becomes visibly intoxicated, but the others remain clear-headed enough to discuss Evelyn's murder further. The bartender, offering condolences, informs them that he heard the shooting was gang-related. Demanding more information, Bobby becomes agitated, leading Jeremiah to leave abruptly, refusing to risk being involved in a violent confrontation. Armed with newfound information from the bartender, Bobby, Angel, and Jack head to the car, arming themselves with light weaponry. They decide to investigate an old gang hideout where a party is underway. They crash the party, firing rounds into the air to disperse the crowd. Confronting the gang leader, they douse him in gasoline, demanding answers about Evelyn's death. As the leader denies involvement, he reveals that the basketball player witness mentioned in the police investigation is a lie. He points out that the witness claimed to see the shooters leave at 11, but the basketball court lights go off at 10, casting doubt on the reliability of the witness's account. Bobby escorts the gang leader to the basketball court near the convenience store, confirming that the court lights indeed shut off at 10 p.m., as claimed. The following day, the brothers meet with Evelyn's lawyer, Robert Bradford. During the reading of Evelyn's will, Bradford presents a box containing her belongings. They proceed to the convenience store where Evelyn was killed. Requesting access to security camera footage, they watch in horror as the shooters confront Evelyn. Bobby notes the lack of motive for her murder, as the robbers already had the money. Determined to uncover the truth, they inquire about the witness, learning that he plays basketball at a nearby community center. The brothers storm into the community center, interrupting a basketball game, armed and demanding information about the witness. Jack notices a nervous kid leaving and pursues him into the hall. Tackling the kid, they interrogate him. He admits that the man they seek is his brother, Damien, and provides his whereabouts. The brothers go to Damien's apartment, but Jeremiah has to leave for his daughter's dance practice. Jack spots Damien, recognizable by his distinctive big hair. Exiting the car, Bobby draws his gun, startling Damien, who dashes into the building and goes to his apartment. Upon reaching Damien's apartment, they discover he has unleashed two aggressive Rottweilers. Bobby attempts to fend them off with gunfire, but the dogs bite him. Angel uses a fire extinguisher to deter the animals, and they follow Damien inside. Damien rappels down the building, prompting Bobby and Angel to chase him. Damien admits to being paid off to deceive the police but refuses to reveal the shooters' identities. Damien, under pressure, divulges the information. The brothers head to a bar where Jack identifies one of the shooters with a goatee. Realizing they're being observed, the shooters open fire, prompting a chaotic pursuit through the snowy streets. Bobby and Angel approach the wreckage, dragging the shooters out before, delivering a vengeful beating and fatal shots. Jack, witnessing the brutality, is momentarily stunned before Bobby and Angel pull him away. Together, they leave the scene. After the shootings, Green and Fowler investigate the crime scene, suspecting the Mercers' involvement. At the Mercer house, Sophie tends to Bobby's dog bites as Green and Fowler arrive. Bobby hides his wounds with a robe, playing ignorant when questioned about Evelyn's killers turning up dead. Green notices blood on Bobby's arm, producing an evidence bag with hair supposedly belonging to him. Bobby dismisses it as an old trick. Angel pokes fun at Fowler, nearly starting a fight with Fowler. The officers warn the brothers to be cautious before leaving. Later, Bobby takes Jack to investigate Damien's apartment, leaving Angel with Sophie. However, Angel's intimate moment with Sophie is interrupted by an insurance agent, delivering news about Jeremiah's claim. The agent reveals Jeremiah is bankrupt but set to receive $400,000 from Evelyn's death. At Damien's place, Bobby and Jack find a stash of guns and a useful digital camera. Returning home, Bobby contemplates how Damien acquired the weapons, while Jack discovers photos of Evelyn being followed. They all notice a picture of Evelyn with her lawyer, Mr. Bradford. Suspicious of Bradford's conflicting statements, they decide to investigate him further. But later, he turns out to be innocent. At a downtown restaurant, gang leader Victor Sweet expresses anger over the local shooter's involvement in a recent job. He humiliates Evan by forcing him to eat off the floor, showcasing his displeasure with the situation. Meanwhile, Angel discovers Jeremiah's financial troubles, linking them to Councilman Douglas, who shut down Jeremiah's project. Bobby and Jack confront Douglas in a parking garage, dousing his car in gasoline. They demand information about Jeremiah's business closure and learn about Victor Sweet from Douglas. Angel finds out that Victor Sweet, once small time, now controls Detroit with extensive connections in Congress, the police department, and beyond. Bobby asks him why they had to meet in a bowling alley, prompting Angel to point out Evan, who receives a yellow envelope from Jeremiah a few lanes away. When Jeremiah leaves, the brothers approach Evan, seeking information about the envelope. Later in the car, Bobby is visibly upset upon discovering the envelope contains a substantial amount of cash. Meanwhile, Councilman Douglas visits Victor Sweet's home and tells him about his interaction with the Mercer brothers. Sweet asks if Douglas gave his name, which Douglas denies, but Sweet sees past the lie. He sends Douglas to the kiddie table where one of the children asks if he's in trouble. Sweet dismisses the women and children and stands over Douglas before asking for a pistol. At the police station, Green investigates Bradford's statements and discovers a previously undisclosed police report. Reviewing surveillance tapes, he finds that Fowler spent an hour talking to Evelyn before her death, a detail Fowler failed to mention in his earlier statements. Green is left surprised and suspicious of Fowler's unreported interaction with Evelyn. The next morning, Jeremiah arrives at the Mercer house, where Bobby and Angel confront him about his financial troubles, accusing him of being the cause of their mother's death. Despite Jeremiah's denial, Bobby pushes him to the floor. Jeremiah explains that the insurance claim was for his daughters that Evelyn left. He reveals how he rejected a partnership with Victor Sweet, leading Sweet to sabotage his business and maybe kill Evelyn because she tried to help. As they discuss, Jack answers the doorbell and is insulted by an assailant who throws a snowball before revealing an ominous hockey mask. As Jack runs behind the guy, he is shot in the chest. In a desperate attempt to save Jack, Bobby returns fire as more hooded men with automatic weapons arrive. Jack, critically wounded, screams for help. A fierce battle breaks out between the brothers and the gang. The assailants temporarily run out of ammo. Bobby, Angel, and Jeremiah rush to Jack's side. As Jack struggles for breath, Bobby pleads with him to hang on, but Jack dies. The police arrive, and Green, saddened by Jack's death, informs the brothers that he's dealing with corruption within his department. Bobby grows angry, suspecting Fowler, but Green doesn't confirm. Apologizing for Jack's death, Green assures them no charges will be filed as it was self-defense. At a local bar, Green confronts Fowler about hiding his meeting with Evelyn. Fowler downplays its importance, and Green takes matters into his own hands, knocking Fowler down with a pool cue and disarming him. Outside, Fowler shoots Green, wipes the gun, and calls for backup, creating a false narrative. Both Green and Jack are buried, leaving the brothers uncertain. They suspect Fowler's involvement in Evelyn's death, thinking she tried filing a report against Sweet. Jeremiah proposes a plan. He approaches Evan with a $400,000 offer to Sweet to lift the hit. Returning home, Jeremiah shares that Sweet agreed to a meeting that afternoon. Bobby follows Jeremiah while Angel keeps Fowler occupied. Angel swiftly heads to Fowler's house, using a kid selling candy bars as a distraction, while he sneaks in. Surprising Fowler, Angel puts a plastic bag over his head, signaling Bobby to allow Jeremiah to leave with the money. Fowler tears the bag at the last moment but is held at gunpoint by Angel. Simultaneously, Sophie confesses at the police station that Angel is plotting to kill a cop. This prompts a squad to rush to Fowler's house. Fowler, reveling at the approaching sirens, taunts Angel, claiming victory. Angel disagrees, stating that he knows he killed his partner. Fowler admits to the crime and says that no one would believe a Mercer over him. Angel reveals that he has a hidden wire on him, feeding their entire conversation to a surveillance unit outside. Fowler takes Angel outside as his hostage, confusing the police. When Fowler fires at them, they return fire, killing him. Meanwhile, Jeremiah meets Evan and Charlie on a frozen lake, where Sweet's goons cut holes through the ice. Sweet arrives, surprised to see Jeremiah. Jeremiah hands over the money and proposes a new plan, distributing it to Sweet's mistreated goons. Insulted, Sweet orders Evan to give him a pistol, but Evan refuses, highlighting his loyalty to the Union. Jeremiah reveals that Fowler won't be joining them, and Sweet challenges his goons to take him down. Suddenly, Bobby appears, walking with determination and vengeance in his eyes. Sweet laughs as they engage in a brutal fight, with Jeremiah and Sweet's goons cheering them on. In the end, Bobby gains the upper hand, delivering a powerful blow under Sweet's chin, rendering him unconscious. Bobby instructs the goons to dispose of Sweet in the icy hole. They drag Sweet to the edge and toss him into the freezing water, allowing Jeremiah and Bobby to leave. Unconcerned about police repercussions, Bobby believes the cops favor the Mercers. In separate interrogation rooms, the brothers endure beatings while refusing to disclose details about Fowler and Sweet. They joke with the cops, claiming innocence. Eventually, the brothers are released, much to the relief of Camille and Sophie. By Christmas, the brothers work tirelessly to restore the bullet-riddled Mercer home. Sophie and Camille gather everyone inside for a meal as Bobby finishes woodworking. Turning toward the house, he briefly sees Evelyn crocheting and smiling, expressing joy at seeing him again. She invites him to stay, and Bobby, smiling, replies, "Thinking about it, Ma."